Hey.
Alright, y'all, so we had probably the best game of the preseason so far. Oklahoma City Thunder versus the San Antonio Spurs. More importantly, Chet Holmgren versus Victor Wembanyama. Whole bunch of other young, talented players in this game as well, and it was an absolute delight to watch. Obviously, Chet and Wemby both had great games. After the game, there was some chippiness that the media was, playing up a little bit between Chet and Wemby. And I don't think it's anything serious, just off rip, but at the same time, super enjoyable from a fan perspective. I really hope that this is a rivalry that sticks, and it sticks to basketball. Listen, I don't care about the off the court shit, but when it comes to basketball, if this could end up being like this era's David Robinson versus Hakeem Olajuwon, I would be more than happy with that. Now, in terms of actual game notes, let's start with the San Antonio Spurs. Of course, we're going to start with Victor Wembanyama, as he just is such a crazy, it doesn't feel real watching him play in the NBA. His playmaking is already really good. His defense is insane. Some stuff that I feel like we've just never seen before on a basketball court, let alone from a rookie player. It's just crazy to think that he is literally must-watch basketball every time he plays. If I were the NBA, I'd have the Spurs on primetime television at least 50 games for the rest of his career, because as long as he can stay healthy, he's just going to be a highlight machine. Oh, literally almost every play is a highlight for him. It just doesn't make sense. Let's see. Outside of that, though, Spurs played a pretty, I don't know. Chetty Osman was solid. I think that's gonna be a good pickup for the Spurs. They needed some wing help, and Jetty has been, away in Cleveland trying to battle for minutes. He should get more opportunities here, and he had a really good, solid first preseason game, so hopefully he can build on that. Zach Collins, on the other hand, had a pretty rough night. I'm a Zach Collins believer. I just did a Devin Vassell video on the channel, which you should definitely check out. A little early in the offseason, I did a Jeremy Sohan video, so I watched plenty of Zach Collins tape recently. And I do believe in him as a player. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people that he is cemented as the starting center for the Spurs team. But tonight was easily not one of his best nights. Outside of that, I am becoming a huge Blake Wesley believer. I think he should be a really solid point guard off the bench. He's a tremendous point of attack defender for the Spurs. He can knock down shots. He can play make a little bit. He's good with the ball in his hands. I really hope he can get some more reps throughout the season and solidify that bench point guard job behind Trey Jones. As for the Oklahoma City Thunder, this team just continues to amaze me with how deep their talent goes. I mean, I'm just taking a quick look here at Spotrac for them and looking at the contracts they have for the season, and I can confidently say they have 15 players on this roster who I would feel perfectly fine throwing into any rotation on any NBA team. They might not be the best player in the rotation, but they would get playing time. At least they should get playing time. And that is just absurd from a team building standpoint. Obviously, their MVP of the night was Chet Holmgren. Low-key might have outplayed Victor Wembanyama in this game. Should be a very interesting Rookie of the Year race as the season unfolds. But yeah, I mean, Chet is everything that we've been predicting. He can handle the ball. He can set screens. He can roll to the rim. He can drive to the rim with the ball in his hands. He's got a nice spin move that he used a couple times early on in this game. He can shoot threes. He can play defense. There really aren't many gaps to Chet Holmgren's game. And he looks like he has all the confidence in the world right now playing on a very good Thunder team. J-Dub picked up right where he left off after a tremendous rookie season. He actually spent most of this game guarding Victor Wembanyama. And he did a pretty solid job considering the size difference and just how good of a player Victor Wembanyama is. And even though it wasn't his best game, he still made plenty of impact, and that's just the exact type of player that J-Dub is. And I've never been the biggest fan of Josh Giddey, but I do have to admit, I truly think his playmaking is underrated still at this point in his career. I mean, I watch him play basketball, handle the ball, and every pass is just an absolute laser, perfectly on the money for guys to get in their shooting pocket, to make their shots easier. And he's got that old man game. He can go get you some buckets. I'm still not the biggest Josh Giddey fan, but I do have to, game respect game. And then Cason Wallace, OKC's recent 10th overall pick, also very impressive to me. He seems like he's going to be a pretty lockdown guard defensively, good POA defender. on offense. He can play make a little bit. He showed a flash of that. I'll have to see what the shooting and scoring is like, but for the most part, defense should earn him plenty of playing time on this team. Some other names that stood out to me on the bench, we had Ousmane Dieng, another former lottery pick who just continues to ascend his way up this rotation. Isaiah Joe continues to be an absolute steal for them, one of the best shooters in the league, can also handle the ball a little bit, put it on the floor. Another great player for the Thunder, if you're noticing a theme. Kenrich Williams only played the second half, but Kenny Hustle he's just such a winning player. I don't know if he'll get minutes on this Thunder team. He absolutely should, but if he doesn't, I need him to play somewhere. I need Kenny Hustle to be getting minutes on some rotation for some team because he is just such a joy to watch. Hell, even Davis Bertans, who I thought would be getting 0 playing time for this team, even he lit it up. He shot 4 of 6 from 3. I think he hit his first 4 3-point attempts when he checked into the game to start the second half. And, I wouldn't at all be surprised. He's been a dud the past couple seasons, at least with the Dallas Mavericks. If he were to somehow turn around and be an absolute sharpshooter for the Thunder, this team's got to deal with the devil, man. I don't know how they do it. Anyway, when it comes to, projecting both these teams' seasons this year, I think a lot of people have the Thunder pegged as an underdog, at least to make the playoffs. And to be honest, listen, I like the roster, but there's just so much talent in the West. I wouldn't be at all surprised if they finish as a 6 seed and sneak in, or at least sneak out of the play-in games. But I do think they are destined for another year of fighting their way into the playoffs. I think they make it this year, after losing in the play-in last year. I think they will have the talent and the chemistry to be a winning team and make it this year and take that next step. The Spurs, on the other hand, probably going to be finishing near the bottom of the conference, which I don't mean that in a negative way. They're going to take another leap forward this year. Obviously, Victor Wembanyama will help with that. The rest of the team is also on the way up. But at the end of the day, these are 2 teams that you can confidently say that you can be excited for because they have some of the best collections of young talent in the entire NBA. And at the end of the day, that's at least a very good league pass team to watch every night. And at the center of all of it is hopefully a tremendous rivalry in the brewing between Chet and Victor Wembanyama. Again, if that could last for like a decade or so, that is going to be extremely fun to watch play out. But outside that, that's enough for me for this video. As always, if you enjoyed it, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.